Welcome to January and the new year. This is a review of what has been happening since October, since we haven't talked in ages in this little vlog storytelling kind of format. And in October, my brother's girlfriend Kao finished her major in graphic design and received this little custom portrait of her cat as a present. It's been huge fun since I haven't been working with acrylics and a big canvas in ages. During Inktober, I also took the liberty to stay away from ink as the main medium and kind of make friends with gouache, which has been very interesting since I normally work with watercolor and it's a lot more opaque, and I kind of used it in a very watered down version, which is not what you're supposed to do with gouache. But I think the mixture of gouache, watercolor, and color pencil has been just blissful in the outcome. The end of October has also been surprisingly warm, and we stumbled upon this giant clearing on one of our walks. The whole meadow was filled with autumn crocus, sunshine, and a lovely sweet scent from all the flowers that were still blooming. The tiny cabin next to the pond was especially enchanting. Everything seemed so pretty, it was almost surreal. Once the first snow fell in December, we made a snow raccoon that everyone who plays Animal Crossing is probably very familiar with. It's no other than Tom Nook. When Christmas came around, the kids wanted to have a different kind of Christmas tree, so we lit up the garden with LED fairy lights. We also opened the gifts in the garden while having hot chocolate. So this is what has been going on since October. It's been quite a lot. We're mostly been busy renovating, really bringing the house that basically hasn't been touched in the last 30 years to update it and to make it into something that is suitable for our style of living. The original plaster on the wall was super rough, so we had to go over it 2 to 3 times in order to smooth everything out. I've done this before, so I'm familiar with the whole process, and honestly, I love it. Even working overhead is no big deal for me. I could happily spend the rest of my days turning this old house into a sweet, sweet gem. After the first phase was over and the new floor was done, our carpenter invited us to a Bolivian barbecue in the garden, which has been different to what I'm used to, but it was so tasty. On New Year's, we made our yearly fire in the garden to look and reflect on the past year. And when the snow came again, I made sure that all the birds were well fed. I also upgraded my atelier with lots of fairy lights and a cozy reading spot. I'm going to be teaching with Etcher in March, and I just wanted to let you know here that if you're interested, I will keep you updated about all the lessons on Instagram. So if you're not following me there yet, this is where you get a bit more information. The lesson will be mostly about using ink and a certain bleaching technique to get highlights into the feathers of birds. So if you're into nature journaling, if you want to have something that is more like a very personalized painting for a friend or someone who has a birthday, I will teach you how to create your own birth chart in the background with golden ink, and it's super cute. There's just so much to say about the position we all have, especially right now during this pandemic and the way politics work at the moment. What kind of messages are we putting out there? But it's not so much about the message as it is about the how. In Zen, you would say if there's a lot of rush and a lot of pressure and emotion that goes into your everyday, where you're just doing one thing after another just because you have to do them and you're not really thinking and observing what you're doing, that's a sure way to have an empty heart. And that's such a nice description, because what I think what's currently happening is also that we feel that kind of emptiness of the heart a lot. So whatever has been building up through the boomer generation, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, never really taking care of where our feet are at the moment, that kind of footing, going inwards. It's really a wintering of the soul and the heart that we're going through at the moment. And I know it's hard for many people to go through this alone, but this is sort of a hero's journey. So it really depends on how you look at it. I think my partaking in this whole social media genre as a content creator on whatever platform is to guide us all back to feeling more grounded. Because there is a way of living in this life that is very centered, a lot slower. And I know that slow is still such a triggering word. Because slow means you're not being productive. You're not getting anything done. You're not able to tick off 20 things off your list, right? So your mind automatically jumps to that kind of productivity conclusion. Whereas slow just means single focus. I look at the way my brain works, the more I feel like a fractured external hard drive, where things are just all over the place. Becoming more simple doesn't mean becoming more stupid, on the contrary. If you're able to clearly observe what's going on, your mind will slow down. And once you really see what you're doing and why you're doing things, out of a habit, out of a defense mechanism, out of survival, out of PTSD or trauma, you're not just on the highway totally identified as the driver. You become the observer, and you notice that you're still on the highway, but you're not believing everything as strongly anymore. And there's just a ton I could talk about this. I think what you will see here in this year is a lot of storytelling, a lot of reminders to come back into the here and now. I'm just happy to be someone, or to be in the position. I'm entirely and intensely and forever grateful to be in the position to bring people closer to nature, to life, through videography, through this medium, through my storytelling. And that you at the moment are maybe able to pick up a bit on that vibe, that energy, so that you can relax into this situation that we're going through. It's challenging, but there's also a certain beauty about this. I can only describe it as a sort of gratefulness that very important things now come to the surface and gain attention, become seen, even if it's not just pretty. But I don't think that life is just about being pretty and nice. And of course, we all strive for happiness, but life is suffering. It's only about the way you look at it, the way you go through it, the way you experience it. I'm not sure who said that. I think his name is Ashanti. I'm not really sure. Oh God. But he basically said, if you want to go and travel and you want to see, let's say, Australia, you're not traveling through Australia by flying over Australia with a plane, right? The plane ride is pleasant. You have food, you have water, nothing dangerous is out there. You can still look down and see everything, basically. But you're missing out on everything that Australia is, because you're not fighting your way through the land or per patus, by foot. So the whole experience of being alive is by getting close to nature, feeling it, even if it's not nice, even if you go through some stinging nettles. And so the way you handle that situation is all that it's all about. So yeah, I've been talking a lot about things that are going through my mind at the moment. As always, you're invited to tell your stories in the comment section. Tell me how you are. Really, I'm very curious. How does all of this feel to you? We will talk very soon. I'm trying to keep you updated on everything as much as possible. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.